Hello, my name is Frank Peters, and I'm here today to speak with Dr. Adler about his essay from the book The Big Casino called Closure. Hello, Dr. Adler.
Good morning.
I'm happy to be able to speak to you, and I would like to discuss your essay called Closure with you. Before we get into the title of the essay, I would like to talk to you a little bit about one of the patients that you're describing in your essay. Her name is Cecilia. Can you tell her a little bit about her and why she was so important for you?
Cecilia had come to my office with an advanced rectal cancer. And in order to properly treat it, even though she was 82, she had a very good performance status. She had no other medical problems. She had agreed to undergo initial chemotherapy and radiation to shrink the cancer to allow it to become a resectable cancer. Mm-hmm. So she handled the combination treatment very well. She went through the treatment, and then she had a curative resection to remove the cancer after several months of treatment. Unfortunately, several months after that, after the surgery, she was found to have spread of cancer with recurrence within 6 months, and there was evidence of spread of cancer to her liver. So at that point, another discussion was undertaken with Cecilia and a number of her children. One of her daughters was a nurse practitioner, and her 8 adult children were very, very involved in her care. Her husband had died some 10 years prior from a heart attack, and during those 10 years, she became a very independent woman. The decision was to further treat her with chemotherapy once she had this relapse involving her liver. And again, she seemed to do very well for another 6 months. She showed evidence of responding to the treatment, but then unfortunately, she developed evidence of bowel obstruction, and she needed another operation in order to correct the bowel obstruction. Again, after that, and recovering from the bowel surgery, she had evidence of further progression of disease. So within perhaps 18 months, she had decided that she had enough treatment. She wanted to be in charge of her life. She chose to take a supportive care approach with hospice providing services at home. Mm-hmm. And after a number of hospital stays, she went home with the support of her family and friends.
That's a brave decision usually for patients to take, I guess.
It's interesting when a patient is very proactive about that. It's not uncommon for, in my practice, to have patients who just do not want to deal with that, where someone could be 90 years old and saying, I do not need a medical directive. I do not need a living will. I have time left. And a lot of people now don't want to deal with that. And unfortunately, a lot of physicians don't bring the subject up. Yeah. But Cecilia was very well informed, and I think what helped her a lot was she was very religious. She had a lot of faith in God, and faith always helps the patient and family in dealing with end-of-life issues. Yeah. And she went home on hospice and died peacefully at home several weeks later.
Yeah, I can understand that because there's so much sadness and so much, how do you say that, headwind that you have to face, and it's especially remarkable then to see that people like the patients that you described that give you the energy to keep going. That's really fantastic to hear.
My patients have taught me a lot, and caring for patients with blood diseases, cancer, is sometimes an overwhelming task. But I learned so much from my patients, and to be part of their lives and participate so much in what they do is very, very special. And that allows me to keep going with what I'm doing. And I think it's an issue that continues to need to be addressed by both the American Society of Hematology and the American Society of Clinical Oncology. And these are issues that are just being looked at now by our national organizations. But it is an issue among all physicians caring for hematology and oncology patients.
Thank you so much for sharing this story with us. It's like I said already, it's really interesting to hear how patients really drive you and your energy, and how you feel with them, and how you deal with the loss of your patients. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Frank, for allowing me to have this opportunity to speak. Thank you so much.